Good morning. If you've recently stared at a departure board full of canceled and delayed flights, you're not alone. Across the country, airports are scenes of frustration and confusion. The root cause? A prolonged government shutdown in Washington, D.C. Air traffic controllers, federal employees, are working without pay, leading to severe staffing shortages and a ripple effect of delays and cancellations. This isn't just a political story. It's a real-world crisis impacting families, business travelers, and anyone relying on air travel. Airports have become epicenters of anxiety, with thousands stranded and travel plans in chaos. In the next sections, we'll break down the numbers, explain why control towers are empty, and explore the safety concerns emerging from this crisis. Let's get into it. To truly grasp the magnitude of this crisis, we need to look beyond the headlines and dig into the numbers, and what they reveal is nothing short of staggering. The chaos unfolding at airports across the country isn't just a series of isolated incidents. It's a nationwide phenomenon affecting millions of travelers. On November 8th alone, a jaw-dropping 1,500 flights were canceled, and another 6,000 delayed nationwide. That's thousands of planes grounded or stuck on tarmacs, and tens of thousands of passengers left scrambling for answers, often with little information or support. The day before was nearly as chaotic, with over 1,000 cancellations and a staggering 7,000 delays. For 2 days straight, airports became scenes of confusion and frustration, as travelers watched their plans unravel in real time. But these numbers aren't just statistics. They represent real people and real moments lost. Each cancellation means a missed birthday celebration, a business deal that never happened, or a long-awaited vacation suddenly ruined. The ripple effects touch families, friends, and colleagues across the country. When a major hub like Atlanta or Chicago is hit by these disruptions, the consequences don't stop at the city limits. Delays and cancellations at these airports send shockwaves through the entire air travel system, causing a domino effect that can be felt in cities large and small, even reaching international destinations. The Federal Aviation Administration now reports critical staffing shortages at 42 airport towers and control centers nationwide. These are the nerve centers of our airspace, and when they're understaffed, the entire system slows down, making it nearly impossible to recover quickly from even minor disruptions. What started as a trickle of delays has now become a relentless torrent of cancellations, rivaling the chaos and disruption of a national blizzard. Airports that once ran like clockwork are now scenes of confusion, with passengers stranded for hours or even days. And now, a government shutdown in Washington is grounding more planes than even the most severe weather events. The political gridlock is having a direct, tangible impact on the lives of everyday Americans, as flights are canceled and travel plans thrown into chaos. The reliability we once took for granted in air travel has vanished, replaced by a new reality of daily uncertainty. For millions, the simple act of getting from one place to another has become a gamble, with no guarantee of when, or even if, they'll reach their destination. The heart of the crisis? It's not just about grounded planes or frustrated passengers. It's about the people who are the invisible backbone of our entire aviation system, the air traffic controllers. Every day they guide thousands of flights safely through crowded skies, making split-second decisions that keep millions of travelers out of harm's way. Air traffic controllers, 13,000 federal employees, are the unsung heroes who keep our skies safe and our airports running smoothly. Their work is high stakes, high pressure, and absolutely essential to the functioning of modern air travel. But now, due to the government shutdown, these professionals are being forced to work without pay for weeks on end. The financial and emotional strain is mounting with every passing day. Many are dipping into savings, maxing out credit cards, and wondering how they'll make ends meet. Many are missing their second paycheck, struggling to support families and pay bills. The stress doesn't end when they leave the tower. It follows them home, affecting their loved ones and their own well-being. Absenteeism is soaring. At some of the nation's busiest facilities, up to 40% of controllers aren't showing up. Some are too exhausted, others simply can't afford the commute, and a few are forced to choose between their job and their family's survival. This isn't a strike. It's a workforce pushed to the brink, stretched beyond its limits by circumstances out of their control. The pressure is relentless, and morale is at an all-time low. Even before the shutdown, the system was already stretched thin. Years of retirements and a slow, complex training pipeline have left too few new recruits to fill the gaps. Now, with training programs halted and classrooms empty, the shortage is only getting worse. There simply aren't enough controllers to safely manage normal flight volumes. Each controller is responsible for more planes, more hours, and more stress than ever before. Air traffic control is like an orchestra. When key players are missing, the harmony collapses and chaos follows. Communication breaks down, mistakes become more likely, and the entire system is at risk. The shutdown has dismantled the foundation of our air traffic system, filling the void with delays, cancellations, and growing safety concerns. Passengers are left stranded, airlines are losing millions, and the ripple effects are felt across the country. The expertise and teamwork that keep us safe are unraveling. Without immediate action, the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for air travel, but for everyone who depends on a safe, reliable aviation system. Not all airports are suffering equally. Major hubs are hit hardest. Cities like New York, Chicago, San Francisco, and Newark are at the epicenter. At Atlanta, the world's busiest airport, flights faced average delays of nearly 5 hours due to ground delay programs. Newark's controllers are working mandatory overtime, leading to fatigue and more delays. In San Francisco, controller shortages and weather have created hours-long tarmac waits. Even if you're not flying to these cities, you're affected. Delays in major hubs cascade nationwide. A morning delay in Chicago can mean an afternoon cancellation in Omaha. The interconnected nature of air travel means a crisis at a few key airports can cripple the entire system. No corner of the country is untouched by the chaos. Airlines are caught in an impossible situation. The FAA has mandated flight reductions to prevent the overburdened system from collapsing. Starting November 7th, airlines cut 4% of flights at 40 major airports, about 700 cancellations for the largest carriers. Staffing shortages forced even more cancellations throughout the weekend. The cuts will deepen. Up to 10% of flights could be grounded if the shutdown continues. Airlines must decide which routes to cut, how to rebook passengers, and absorb major financial losses. Proactive cancellations offer little relief, as last-minute changes remain rampant. The airlines are shrinking not due to demand, but because the government infrastructure they rely on is crumbling. Behind the numbers is a human crisis. Every day, thousands of dedicated airport workers show up to jobs that are more demanding than ever, even as their paychecks are delayed or missing entirely. These are the people who keep our airports running smoothly, yet right now, they're being asked to shoulder an impossible burden. Air traffic controllers and TSA screeners are required to work without pay, facing mounting stress and uncertainty. The pressure is relentless. Every decision they make can impact the safety of thousands, yet their own livelihoods hang in the balance. Many are working extra shifts, covering for colleagues who simply can't afford to keep coming in. Imagine doing a high-stakes job while worrying about your next paycheck. The anxiety doesn't end when the shift is over. At home, bills pile up and families wonder how they'll make ends meet. The emotional toll is immense, with many workers reporting sleepless nights and constant worry about the future. Fatigue and burnout are rampant. Many are calling in sick out of genuine exhaustion. The physical and mental strain is visible on their faces. Some workers are forced to choose between buying groceries and paying rent, all while trying to maintain the highest standards of safety and service. Airport workers, gate agents, baggage handlers, customer service face angry passengers and longer hours. Tempers flare as delays increase, and the people on the front lines bear the brunt of travelers' frustration. Many staff members are working overtime, sacrificing time with their own families to keep the system afloat. The entire airport ecosystem is strained, from security lines to boarding gates. Passengers wait in longer lines, and the stress ripples through every corner of the terminal. The sense of normalcy that travelers expect is slipping away, replaced by uncertainty and tension. This isn't just an inconvenience. It's eroding the well-being of a critical workforce. The people who keep our skies safe and our journeys possible are being pushed to their limits, both physically and emotionally. These are our neighbors and friends, showing up out of duty, but that duty is being tested like never before. Despite everything, they try to offer a smile, to help a traveler, to support each other through the hardest days. The human cost is mounting, with stress and debt rising for those who keep our skies running. If this crisis continues, we risk losing not just efficiency, but the very people who make air travel possible. Their resilience is remarkable, but it shouldn't be taken for granted. The big question, are our skies still safe? The FAA and airlines are reducing traffic, but safety risks are growing. Fatigue and stress among controllers increase the risk of error. Over 500 voluntary safety reports have been filed since the shutdown began, citing mistakes and close calls due to controller fatigue. The margin for error in aviation is razor thin, and it's shrinking. Transportation officials warn that if absenteeism worsens, flight cuts could reach 20%, a drastic move to prevent disaster. The safety net of people and technology is under unprecedented strain. Flying remains safe, but the crisis is eroding the safeguards we rely on. The shutdown is a gamble with public safety, and the stakes are high. Every day the shutdown continues, the risk grows. How did we get here? A bitter partisan standoff over the federal budget. The government shutdown is now in its 39th day, with Congress and the White House deadlocked. Democrats demand funding for health insurance subsidies. Republicans want a clean funding bill. Essential services like the FAA and TSA have become bargaining chips, leaving the public caught in the middle. Until a compromise is reached, the shutdown and the chaos in our airports will continue. Looking ahead, the future depends on political action in Washington. The FAA plans deeper flight cuts if the shutdown drags on, up to 10% by week's end. Travelers should prepare for more cancellations and consider alternative plans. The only real fix is ending the shutdown. Even after a resolution, recovery will take time. Backlogs, disrupted schedules, and stressed workers won't vanish overnight. This crisis exposes how much we depend on a functioning government and dedicated public servants. For now, patience and understanding go a long way. Airport workers are victims of this crisis too. Let's hope our leaders find the same sense of duty and resolve this, so our skies can return to normal.